Hello and welcome back to the Spiritual Shitshow podcast. My name is Julie Wynn, and wowzers, if you have been following the podcast, you know that we have been talking about all kinds of things. Penthouse living, abundance, abandonment, allowance, divine feminine. And so for this episode today, I want to take a pause to be able to pool all of these concepts together so we know exactly what we're building and how all of this information can help us in our own lives. All right, so let's backtrack. And I love doing this because it's just like all things. We're not linear. We're always kind of backpedaling and touching these aspects, these teachings that we've done before, but we get to do it again. Hopefully it sinks in a little bit. Penthouse living. All right, what that really was about frequency. It's really shining a light on how and where we feel safe. And what's that gap between what it is that we desire and what it is that we allow? Really stepping into that penthouse life and getting into the elevator and paying attention to what floor you innately want to stop on. If it's settling for the third floor of your life because it's familiar, comfortable, or predictable, how can we allow ourselves to press the button and ride the elevator all the way to the top? We've talked about abundance. We've talked about allowance. We've talked about what it actually means to radically receive instead of constantly striving, forcing, and exhausting ourselves. I am currently still working on all of that in my own life. But then we uncovered something that stopped us in our tracks, and we realized that the greatest obstacle standing between us and the penthouse frequency, that penthouse life, wasn't a lack of money or opportunity or bad luck or bad timing. It was our subtle way that we self-abandon. How often are we leaving ourselves to keep everyone else comfortable? How often are we saying yes when our bodies, our guts, our souls are screaming no? How often do we shrink our truth because we're terrified of disappointing somebody else? And then, right in the middle of this realization, a new message arrived, a whisper that has been reverberating in these podcasts for a couple episodes now. And that is the statement of never underestimate the power of a woman's love. And I've been sitting with this sentence because it's really about what happens when a woman finally turns that fierce, unconditional, world-altering love inward and directs it towards herself. What does this look like when we as women stop abandoning ourselves? When we remember who we are? Because I truly believe that what is happening on this planet right now, we are living through the rise of the divine feminine. And this is not a trend or a social media aesthetic. And absolutely, it is not a movement against men. It's a beautiful, powerful invitation for us to be back to our wholeness. I'm going to sit with this idea for a second because for generations, women have learned how to survive. We've learned to perform, to people please, to overfunction, to earn our right to exist. We've held everyone together, carrying emotional labor that was never ours to carry alone. And yes, many of us became incredibly capable. We became strong, independent, resilient, the breadwinners. But underneath all that capability, I just wonder if parts of us quietly disappeared. I just wonder, and I don't know, but I'm curious, if we confused strength with self-sacrifice, if we confused love with overgiving, if we confused being needed with being valued. And I think that is finally changing. And again, these are ideas that I am really reevaluating within myself. I have a tendency then to continue to wear the mask of the masculine. And I'm realizing that the divine feminine isn't asking me or us to become louder. She's asking us to become truer. She's not asking us to dominate. She's asking us to embody. She isn't asking us to harden our hearts. She's asking us to soften and soften enough so that our truth and our love and our compassion can be heard, felt, and received. There is an incredible, unshakable strength in the divine feminine softness. It's not weakness. And it takes enormous courage to remain open in a world that has taught us to armor ourselves. And again, I want to be really clear about something because this is where there's a little bit of confusion. The rise of the divine feminine is not about women becoming more powerful than men. It isn't about blame or resentment or proving who has suffered more or who has done what to who. It's about restoring sacred balance. Healthy masculine energy protects and provides direction. Healthy feminine energy creates and brings life. Neither is greater, neither is lesser. They are always designed to dance together in perfect, respectful union. But we cannot invite healthy partnership while we are busy abandoning ourselves. And equally, we cannot ask the masculine to heal while we refuse to do our own work. Healing isn't about who is right, it's about who is willing. And right now, both sides are being called forward to put down the armor. And here is the ultimate realization, tying all of these themes together. The penthouse was never the destination. It was the identity. The penthouse, this penthouse living, isn't the beautiful home. It's the woman who finally believes she is worthy of living there. Abundance isn't the bank account. It's the nervous system that no longer panics when life becomes beautiful. Allowance is not passive. Allowance is trust. It is waking up every single morning and saying, I no longer have to earn my existence. I no longer have to fight for love. I no longer have to abandon myself to belong. I am not broken. I have always been whole and complete and loved. And that is true abundance. I think I need to listen to this particular episode every morning. The penthouse isn't the beautiful home. It's the woman who finally believes she is worthy of living there. Abundance isn't the bank account. It's the nervous system that no longer panics when life is beautiful. And I want to shine a light on this part that we don't talk enough about, or we don't allow or invite in, and that is none of this was ever meant to happen in isolation. Healing alone in your room only takes us so far, and at some point, our becoming has to happen in relationships. We need women who remind us who we are when we forget. We need safe spaces where we can say, I caught myself shrinking today, or I caught myself abandoning my boundaries again, or I'm really trying to understand boundaries with love, loving boundaries. I'm trying to understand what it's like to be in my voice and not feel bitchy or hardened. I'm trying to work on this shame point or guilt point inside of me. We need safe spaces, not because we are failing, but because we are practicing. We need reciprocal relationships, not dynamics where one person is always rescuing and the other is always receiving. We don't need friendships built solely on shared trauma, but we need communities built around remembering. We need communities where your joy is authentically celebrated just as much as your pain is witnessed, where someone lovingly looks you in the eye and says, that doesn't sound like you. What's really true here? And we don't become the divine feminine by reading books about her. We become her by practicing her over and over again. Practice. And we get to practice that in our friendships, in our families, and in our businesses. Where are the examples? Where are the women showing us how to do this? And the answer is we are creating them. We are the archetype. No generation before us has had this exact invitation to be deeply spiritual and wildly successful. God, that is exactly what I am craving. To be deeply spiritual and wildly successful. To be nurturing yet fiercely boundaried. To receive without guilt. To love without losing ourselves. To build empires without sacrificing ourselves or our souls. We are stepping into the blueprint while we are living it. And yes, it's messy. And yes, it's uncomfortable. And yes, it's going to take practice. And yes, it's vulnerable. But can you feel it? Can you feel it? It's also really exciting. So for home play this week, we're going to continue to revisit these things. Where am I still abandoning myself? Where am I refusing to receive? And who are the people helping me remember who I really am? Because that is the work now, not trying to become someone else, but remembering your joy, your voice, your boundaries, your softness, your power, and your love. The woman you are trying to become is the woman you have always been. She simply needed a safe place to come home to. Thank you for walking this journey with me. Every boundary you set, every act of courage, every time you choose yourself, you are helping create a new blueprint for humanity. And maybe that's what the spiritual shit show was always preparing us for. Maybe the spiritual shit show has been that gap, that messy middle. And now we get to wipe the dust from our eyes and practice seeing ourselves in our wholeness and practice seeing love where we thought love wasn't. Until next time, keep choosing that penthouse life. Keep practicing, allowing, remembering. And as always, the magic is you. Till next time.